Hello, and welcome back to RailsQuest. Today I've got a really exciting news, a really exciting thing to share with you. This is something that I would like to release in the very near future, and if there's interest in it, if you leave comments, if you message me on any platform and tell me that you're really excited to get into this, then I will accelerate that timeline. But right now I'm just going to show you what I've been working on with my new Ruby learning platform. So this is the home page, and I'll zoom in on that in just a moment, but I want to just at the outset of this video mention a few of the underlying technologies, and we'll talk about those more at the end. This is Rails 8. This is running pretty much a vanilla Rails 8 stack. We're using the Authentication Zero gem instead of the built-in Rails authentication scaffolding. I love the Rails authentication scaffolding, and I love that it's built into Rails, but Authentication Zero comes with quite a few bells and whistles that I really wanted in this project. Also, it's also using CSS Zero for the styling. This is a no-build project that includes the JavaScript, which is using import maps, the CSS, which is just importing raw CSS files. There's really not any other magic beyond this, and maybe I'll even show you the gem file at the end. It's just a vanilla Rails project. So I'm going to show you just how far you can get with a little MVP side project in Rails in 2024, and it's pretty amazing. All right, so you can see we have Welcome to Learn, creative naming, huh? So you can enroll in a course. Let's go ahead and do that. So I've got some example courses here. The one that I've filled out for today's example is the Ruby Katas. So let's go ahead and enroll in that. You can see I've been playing around with the platform a little bit, so I already have some progress. But let's go ahead and start with the welcome lesson. So we've got a little bit of text here. This is action text, nothing too terribly fancy. We've got some code samples, and the way that this particular course is structured is you walk through some test-driven development examples, and each one is designed to teach you something about Ruby, to help you go a little bit deeper, to encourage you to dig deeper into the Ruby APIs. I really encourage it. I can't take credit for creating and compiling these katas. This is just a demo for what the learning platform can do. But these katas come from collected all over the web, and you can check out my fork of these katas on my RailsQuest GitHub organization. So you can see I've got rich text here and an embedded video element. This will actually play. I've got some optimizations to do here. This is playing the full quality video. Hello, and welcome to the RailsQuest Ruby Kata course. So that's a video of me explaining how this works, and then it's embedded in the rich text, so there's text above and below it. And then here you have a coding exercise. This is one that I've already solved. It just comes with two simple tests, and in a blank slate state, this is what you would see. And you will see that momentarily when we go on to the next lesson. So you see that I have my tests here, and I'm supposed to write the solution that makes the tests green above the test class. If I run this, I get two errors, uninitialized greeter class. So if I magically solve it and I run it, there we go. Now we're all green. And when I'm satisfied with my performance on this lesson, I can go ahead and complete it. And then I can go on to the next lesson, which is the word count kata. And it goes on and on like that. You can see I've already previously completed that. I can uncomplete it, and then I won't be able to go on to the next lesson until I complete this lesson. So, pretty simple. And if I go back to my courses, or if I go back to home, I see the current course that I'm enrolled in. And I can skip to different lessons, and I can see how much I've completed. If I go back to word count, complete that, and then go up to home, you can see I'm 29% complete. And I can continue with the Scrabble. So that's pretty much the learning platform in a nutshell. You can see that it does handle tracking your progress. If I go back in here, you can see that I can change the code, and let's go ahead and prove that. Here's a comment to prove that I'm saving my work. Okay, and if you noticed, you might have seen this save button blinking down here. That's because autosave is turned on. If I go back to the home page and I go to welcome, yeah, there's my comment. So it auto-saves, and you can also manually save if you don't trust the autosave, which I know often I don't. So that is how the application works. And it's pretty much workable. Like I said, there's a few optimizations I'd like to do. There's also, I need to work on, before I can release it, I need to finish the authorization system. I don't want any old user to be able to edit the courses, and right now there's only one type of user, and that user has complete admin access. So we're going to work a little bit on that, refining the access controls in the system so that regular users, such as maybe yourself, who just want to learn something about Ruby, can get into the platform and get going. So let's talk very quickly about some of the interesting technologies. There's too much to mention and actually show you the code, so I'm just going to list a few things, and maybe future videos will go into a little bit more detail. So I already mentioned that there's video uploading. That's using active storage. That's using action text. You actually need to modify some of the configuration for action text to get video to embed itself in a playable format. So that's a little bit interesting, and I'm going to keep working on that to make it more efficient. Like I said, I want different resolutions, and maybe I'll go a completely different direction and embed video that's hosted in a different platform. But right now I'm keeping it simple using action text. Another interesting bit is this Ruby runner. This is using the Ruby WASM project to run the Ruby code in your browser. So all of that is happening in the browser. There's no server interaction when you click the run button. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that was a lot of fun to get working. I encourage you to check out the Ruby WASM project. I think it's even an official distribution of Ruby now. If not, they keep really tightly they very tightly track the released version of Ruby. So it's a very well-maintained project if it's not an official part of Ruby. I'm actually using the mRuby variety, I believe. I may have to double check that because I have been tinkering with that a little bit. The mRuby is embeddable Ruby. That's another really awesome project. You can run Ruby just about anywhere you can imagine, and you can embed it just like you would with Lua or some other scripting language for, video games, anything you can imagine. It's really easy to embed in other things, other programs. So I encourage you to check that out. That's pretty awesome technology as well. And finally, the last interesting bit is I've already been talking about it, and I've talked about how it's become my default way of styling Rails apps, and I wanted to push it a little more than I had been in other applications, my other kind of toy applications. So this is all styled with no build. All the JavaScript I already mentioned is no build. That's all just import maps and a few other, maybe some custom asynchronous imports inside of controllers, stimulus controllers. The CSS is all CSS Zero. So CSS Zero scaffolds CSS files and other bits of your components into your application, and then you can tweak it to your needs. And this application is a great example of how easy it is to make it your own. This is completely different from the default styling of CSS Zero, which is just a very, very standardized kind of black and white, literally black and white UI. It looks very nice, very clean, but it's very generic. So I wanted to put my own kind of spin on this, take most of the curved borders out of things. This curved border survived. I haven't taken a lot of time to refine the design, but I have customized it quite a bit. And you can see here that it is actually completely responsive to the screen size. This works pretty well on mobile. I haven't put just a ton of time into optimizing it for mobile, but I have tested it periodically, and it at least functions. So that goes to show just how powerful this is. Don't write off no build as just an experimental thing that only small projects can use. Clearly, this isn't a huge project yet, but it's got a lot going on in it at this point, and I'm very pleased with how that has worked out. So I don't want to keep y'all too much longer. This video has gone on long enough. I'm really excited about this project. Please let me know if you're interested in getting in. If you're interested in doing this Katas course, for example, I'd love to have you try it out. So please reach out, send me a comment, send me a DM, and we'll see what we can work out. And I will let you know as soon as this thing is live, or what are we going to call it? Alpha testers, beta testers? I don't know. Depends on my confidence level in it at that point. But thank you for sticking with me to the end. Please like and subscribe. Find my links down below. Follow me on X. I've got lots of interesting stuff going out there as well. And with that, have a blessed week. I'll see you next time.